The Roaring Twenties was a fun time full of jazz, alcohol, and dancing.
I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance.
Wow, this music's great. But let's kick it up a notch. During the 1920s, people did not have a limit on how much they spent, mostly because people wanted to keep up with the fashion trends, buy the newest cars, and newly invented appliances such as washers and vacuums.
Crime rates rapidly increased because of prohibition. Prohibition was the ban of buying and selling alcohol. People would go to speakeasies, which were illegal bars that sold alcohol which had been bought from gangs. This increased crime rates drastically. Speakeasies didn't need to be hidden well because nobody enforced the law. Even officers came and drank at the bars.
Movies spread pop culture. They were part of the mass media, which were communications that reached a large audience. The amount of freedom women gained in the 1920s was incredible. They achieved the right to vote. They got better jobs. They got an education. They began to play sports. Drank alcohol. And drove cars. People invested exponentially in the stock market, hoping to get some money. In the beginning, the stock market was functioning well. But in 1929, the stock market crashed due to 16 million shares being sold in one day. This caused the beginning of the Great Depression.
President Calvin Coolidge believed that the government shouldn't address social and economic problems, so he agreed with the theory of laissez-faire economics. Laissez-faire economics was the theory that business, if free of government regulation, will act in ways that benefit the nation. This helped American corporations and individuals prosper.
Because of Hoover's bad decisions, the amount of people who approved of him rapidly decreased. But Hoover was doomed after the Teapot Dome scandal. He allowed for an oil company to bribe one of his cabinet members for land that had lots of oil.
After what everyone had been through with Hoover, when FDR came into office, he was very well liked. Even his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, was popular amongst the people. Franklin Delano Roosevelt presented the New Deal. The goals of the New Deal were relief, reform, and recovery. Roosevelt closed all the banks on only his second day of office. This was so the people knew which banks were safe to put their money in. Soon, people had begun trusting the banks again. FDR then tried to gain more control over the Supreme Court. He attempted to pass a law that would get rid of any justice 70 or older, which was 6 at the time. This plan failed because the legislative branch needed to be independent from the Supreme Court, but 7 of the judges retired anyway. FDR was so popular that he was elected 4 times.
The Dust Bowl started in the 1930s and affected states in the Midwest. It caused farms in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, and New Mexico to be damaged by dust storms. The dust storms also covered the farmers' crops, killing them and making the farmers lose their money. It ended when new farming methods were discovered and rain came. So much changed in the early 20th century. It started off with excitement and revelry. People let loose and became somewhat open-minded. When the economy came to a crashing halt, Americans had to change and be strong, which led to the next point in U.S. history.
I won't dance.